Cool. Brilliant. Love to see your faces though. If you can turn your cameras on, that'd be great as people are coming in. Okay, okay. I don't want to keep you guys waiting because you've come on time. Thank you very much for being on time. Please turn your cameras on. I would love to see the amazing faces of the people that have joined this webinar. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, for those who don't know me, my name is David Hewish. I'm from the UK, and yeah, I've been helping to coordinate this program for nearly 3 years. I'm joined by my fellow uh, Kainun colleague Araceli, who's here with her daughter, helping with the tech. And yeah, we're excited to welcome you to this cycle of the core program. So let us start officially by inviting our Heavenly Parent into the room. So please join me in an opening prayer. Dear God, our loving Heavenly Parent, it is the 11th of May, 2026, and we're here together again for another cycle of the core program, a marriage prep program, which has been going strong for quite a few months now, almost 3 years. And yeah, we're really excited to have a new batch of people coming into this program who want to take their matching and blessing preparation seriously. They really want to dive deeper into what is your dream, Heavenly Parent? What is your vision for marriage, for the blessing, for love, sex, and intimacy? What is your vision? How can we unite with that vision? And how can we, as brothers and as sisters, work on ourselves, become the best versions of ourselves in preparation for the blessing? We are all on different levels in our journey. Some of us have only just started thinking about the idea of getting married. Maybe a few of us are trying really hard now to prepare ourselves for that moment. Maybe some of us are almost there. They're almost ready to start a process, or they're in a process hoping to go to the next blessing in 2027. It was a really wonderful thing to watch many blessed couples get blessed just a couple of weeks ago. No, last week, I believe. It was quite soon. It was quite recently. And yeah, there's so many people that we know who have joined the core program as well that went to that blessing. And it was yeah, amazing to cheer them on, to celebrate their wonderful success as they stood there with their spouse, receiving this incredible gift. And that's why we're here, Heavenly Parent, because we want to make your dream come true. We really want to uphold this beautiful dream that you have to experience joy in families. We don't want to live in isolation. We don't want to follow the fallen path, the empty, lonely, sad path, which Satan unfortunately has dug into this world, and many people have fallen into that ditch. But we want to rise above that. We want to uphold this much more exciting and wonderful vision for life, which is to have a family, to really experience joy within a family. And I pray that every single person here now joining this program at this time can make the best steps possible towards that dream. But of course, we're still part of families already. We are all sons, daughters, we're all brothers and sisters. So we can already focus on that part of family life, but we want to multiply it. We want to go even further and become blessed couples ourselves, unite to bring that the masculinity and the femininity of God together. What an incredible vision! What an incredible dream! And yeah, I'm really excited to start this program together with my brothers and sisters. So I want to invite you into this opening webinar that we can have a good time as we begin. I want to report this all in attending our Holy Mother Han with gratitude, and in my name, David Hirsch, our blessed family, are Jew. Wonderful. I see 23 people in Zoom, but I only see about 7 people with their cameras on. So please, I'd love to see your faces. Let's see your cameras. Yeah. So once again, welcome to Core. For those who've just come in, my name is David Hewish. I'll be your MC for this webinar. And yeah, I'll be responsible for running this program and making sure everything goes smoothly. And yeah, again, I really want to invite you all. So to start this webinar off, we want to break the ice a little bit by getting each other to introduce yourselves to the other participants. So we are going to go into some breakouts now with about four-ish people and answer two very simple questions. Why did you decide to join this program, this core program? And what are you most looking forward to in being in this program? So yeah, hopefully the breakout rooms are ready. Hey everybody, welcome back, welcome back. I love to see more of your faces. I know that you just had them on, I can imagine your cameras. So turn them back on. I want to see your faces. It's always nice. Wow, we have quite a big crowd here. This is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, I hope that you had fun with introducing yourselves to each other with the ice breakouts. But yeah, now we're going to share a video from Andy Pock, who is the director of High Noon Programs. He's going to share a bit about how we can prepare for this cycle ahead of us. So, Araceli, once you're ready, we can start the video.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the core program. Just before registration closed, we had a huge influx of registrations and participants, and we hope we were able to squeeze everyone into the groups. We had to recruit some additional facilitators so that we could create enough space for all of you. So thank you for registering, for considering core, and I hope that this program can be a valuable source of value for you, right? Of a place where you can discuss with like-minded people about marriage, the matching, the blessing, how to prepare for that. And we're going to go through a few points in this short talk that I'm going to give about the objectives and the purpose of the core program and give you a brief orientation, okay, so that you have the most relevant information that you need to get started. And please feel free to reach out with any questions after this webinar or at the end of the webinar. And here we go. Okay, the purpose of this program in CORE. As you know, I hope you know, because you registered for this program, this is a marriage preparation program, right? So if you're already married, I'm sorry, but you're in the wrong program. So in this program, the overarching purpose ultimately is that we can become radiant, blessed couples, okay? And I'm going to explain what that means. But in order to become a radiant, blessed couple, okay, the ideal couple, the most ideal couple that we can imagine for ourselves, that is by becoming radiant, blessed spouses. If we are not radiant, blessed spouses, how can we create a radiant couple, right? A radiant couple needs radiant spouses. And so a couple is made of two radiant individuals, marriageable individuals. And so the main point of this program is for us to prepare to be in a relationship with the goal of becoming a radiant relationship, a radiant couple. But in order to achieve that, we need to become a marriageable person first, right? Somebody who's worth marrying, right? Because if we are too self-entitled and we're like, yeah, the blessing, like I should absolutely get that. However my life has been, I have the right to talk to any other person and get any candidate that I want to. That just is, our attitude would be self-entitled and thinking, being self-centered and self-focused, right? It takes work and shaping ourselves into a person that is marriageable, that somebody else would consider and want to get married to, right? And so setting our values first and shaping our character to be a marriageable person takes work, takes effort, takes time. Okay, it's not automatic. It's not an Amazon order that we can do and it arrives in 2 days. Um, you know, that sort of thing. So preparing for relationship and understanding God's vision for a blessing. That's what we want to do here in core, right? Prepare for relationship and see what is my vision for marriage for the blessing, but also get in tune with what does God want for my blessing? What does God want for me and my marriage and my relationship? And so I want to read this to you, what a radiant blessed couple is and how we define it at High Noon. And it's something that really comes from the founders of High Noon, the Wolfenbergers, right, based on True Parents' teachings. And so a radiant blessed couple is one that is dynamic and deeply bonded through love and care, tremendously intimate, emotionally, physically, and sexually. They live to satisfy each other's needs and desires. The man is committed to the woman being her best self. The woman is committed to the man becoming his best self. Together they blossom as a true man and true woman. Full and not needing, they are givers. Standing before them feels like standing before God. Beautifully unique, their relationship glows and their family radiates with love. All people want what they have. Heaven is created wherever they go and to whatever they do. Okay? You can, my wife and I, we have this written down actually on a note and hanging in our room as a little vision for our couple, that what we want to become. And so, but I already had that when I was single, right? Using this vision to visualize who I really want to be, to manifest what kind of spouse I want to be in the future. Okay, by training, conditioning my vision for this. So we wanted to share that with you because that's the ultimate purpose, right, of this program, to get us there, to prepare there. So, and just to clarify, it's not a program where we'll mediate, and people can find their match, or it's not an official matching workshop where you get an official matching certificate that you need for the blessing. It's not that, right? This is not this program. This program is for you individually to prepare, to educate, to experience what it means to become a marriageable individual and person. So, how do we become a marriageable person? In this program, we want to train and practice to live without shadows. Okay? And shadows is anything that creates a heaviness in our heart, something that holds us back from being our true, authentic, true selves, right? And instead of living in the shadows, we want to live in the light. And so we want to identify, what are the shadows in my life? What is the stuff that's holding me back, that I feel like I cannot, it's hard for me to be honest about this part of myself. It's something that, a part of me that's trying to hide in darkness, in unclarity, in ambiguity. And how would it look like if I could move into the light and cast light into those shadows in my life? Okay, if I could share this with people and really believing that I'm a lovable person, no matter what I've experienced in my life, and yet taking responsibility for what I've experienced in my life, right? And creating a clear vision. That's what we call the North Star, or the North Star goal, like a guiding light in what direction we want to go for our personal life, but also our marriage and relationship. It's something that in society doesn't do so much anymore. It's kind of, the motto is kind of, whatever you feel is right. Yeah, go with your feeling, go with your gut feeling, go with your, the butterfly and honeymoon phase. And if you, so many people are in a relationship for 1 2 years, it gets kind of sour and they don't talk about things, and then they fall in love with somebody else. It's a pretty common story in many of our, you might even know people, right? I just talked to a couple of my friends from high school recently, and they said how they had like not very nice breakups with their girlfriend, boyfriend, right? And we're not being educated on how to create a vision for what kind of relationship do I want in my life in school or university, or if we really have to go out of our way to do that. And so it's revolutionary in a way that we're having this program, and we're taking intentional time to create a vision for that and create actionable steps for that. So that clear vision is a vision for the blessing, a vision for not only getting blessed, but also what kind of blessing do you want? What kind of relationship do you want to have with the blessing itself, with the relationship, but also with your partner, right? Vertically with the blessing and the relationship itself, and with God in your relationship, but also horizontally with the person that you're going to be married to. And our vision for sexuality. What role is sexuality going to play in our marriage? And we want to introduce you to the 5 high noon virtues, right? We want to do all these things and become marriageable people by practicing the 5 high noon virtues. So what are the 5 high noon virtues? Number 1, we have courage, okay? Because it really takes courage to live any of the other virtues. The other 4 virtues are kind of based on courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It means that we have fear, we feel fear, and we do something anyway. Okay? I mean, I know it might sound generic and you might have heard this in 20 other self-help motivational videos, but it's true. Okay, courage is something that sometimes it takes 5 seconds of courage for us to do something honest, do something truthful, do something real. And so that's the same, it's the same case here in High Noon and in the groups that you'll be in this program, right? And so there's courage to do what is true, what is real. And the opposite of that is not fear, because fear will be there. It's cowardice, right? When we are offered an opportunity to talk to somebody new, to put ourselves out there, to have challenging conversations, to go the extra mile, to work on ourselves, to initiate conversation in our groups, for example, or do some extra coursework, not only the minimum that's asked of us. That's courage, taking these opportunities and saying yes. And sometimes we're offered opportunities and we could take them, but we say no because we feel like, oh, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being successful and its consequences, perhaps. And so saying no to these growth opportunities, often it's kind of based on cowardice. We're being a coward because we're saying no to growth opportunities, saying no to being honest with ourselves. Okay, the second one, which is a huge one, is honesty, right? Honesty, and to describe it more precisely, truthfulness, right? Being able to pinpoint what is true in our life. Your father said, sincerity moves heaven, right? It really takes courage to be honest sometimes. And sometimes we need to be brutally honest with where we are at. And so that's something that we want to urge everyone to practice as much as possible. What is it in your life that you need to be more honest about, right? Is it stuff that you're feeling, emotions, certain relationships in your life, or challenges, shadows in your life that you need to be more honest about and bring them to light, right? God works through clarity, right? Spiritual work works through clarity. That's all. We can only get to our vision and our goal in life if we're clear. If we're ambiguous, it's really easy to be like, to wing it, to be wishy-washy about things. It's like, did I reach my goal? I don't know. I feel like I did, but I don't really have a metric to measure it, right? And if the clearer things are, the easier life becomes, actually. Simpler life becomes. Maybe not easy, but simpler and straightforward. And God doesn't work through falsehood, right? And we're never being ourselves if we're lying or being false. Who is it that's speaking when we're lying, right? It's not us, because we're pretending to be somebody else, right? We're hiding part of ourselves. If we're lying, it's the spirit of, deceit, deceiving ourselves and deceiving others, trying to deceive and manipulate ourselves and others into believing that we're someone else. We're somebody who's not struggling with the challenges we are facing in life, actually. We're someone that is already further down the road or more mature than where we're actually at, or we're feeling great even though we're not. And that's not us. That's not real. And that's not the truth. And so God will have a difficulty to work through your life if that's the case. Okay? And why is that so important? Because honesty and truthfulness is it's a condition, right, for us to experience grace in our lives. And grace, I like to describe it as the experience of being totally, completely, 100% held and accepted, okay, for who we are. We feel seen and we feel heard. And I really hope that you can experience that either in this program, in a different High Noon program, or in a different moment in your life of experiencing being totally seen and totally accepted and totally heard, understood for who you are. But it's much more likely to experience that when we're honest, right? Because somebody can only give us grace and love us if they know us, right? But if we always have in the back of our mind, oh, they don't know us anyway, they don't know this side of me that I'm afraid of sharing, then it's always attached to conditions, right? We'll always feel like there's a hook in the love people give us, because if they know who I truly am, how would people see me if they really knew me? And this doubt will always be in the back of our mind. Okay? And so that's why honesty is important, because it opens the door to grace and to acceptance and to love, experiencing love between us and other people, but also our connection with ourselves and our connection with God. Integrity, okay? Integrity is my word. My words meet my actions meet my words. And it's also making my dream a reality. Not only talking about it, not only dreaming about it, but finding a way of how can I put that into practice. It's when people know if you said that, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to do that. And being people who embody our word, embody our dream, right? And not only stay at the dream level, not only stay at the talking about things level, but moving beyond that. Okay, and last but not least, accountability. Accountability allows us to be people of integrity much more. It's asking somebody else, would you hold me accountable to this goal that I have? It's kind of inviting people into the process of our growth, into the process of us being people of integrity and doing it together as a team, and not only, you know, lone wolf mode, because we don't have to. Life is lived in a much better way when we can do it together. Okay, these are the 5 virtues that um, I want to challenge all of you to remember them, first of all, and to see how can you practice them much more in this program. Which one is calling out to you right now the most, right? All of them are important, but right now there might be one that intuitively you feel called to, that's resonating, and you feel like this is what I need to work on. This is what's missing right now in my life and would make life, it would upgrade life significantly. Moving on, I want to touch on why do we talk about sexuality? It's something that Heinun is known for a lot. We talk about sexuality, and also in this marriage prep and relationship prep program, we will be talking about sexuality. Why? Well, why not talk about sexuality? It's such an important part of a relationship. Okay? And it's we want to understand God's vision for our life and our blessing. Okay? What is God's vision for that? And so that includes what is God's vision for sexuality, right? I for a long time believed that God and sex, they don't have anything to do with each other. My life of faith and God, that's in completely different arenas. They don't even touch each other, right? But actually, for God, sexuality is something very sacred, very holy, very heavenly. It is an activity. Sexuality is something that God created for us to experience deep, 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 intimate connection with another being, and for Him to share in that. Okay, and so sexuality has been warped and twisted for like the longest time in history and used for the wrong purpose. A lot of it was about how can I use someone else for my own pleasure, for my own experience of satisfaction. Okay, my first exposure to sex was something like this, a graffiti somewhere on a playground when I was 5 or 6 years old. And so there I was it was this like dirty thing that everybody was joking about in school. Um, and then at home we were trying to paint this holy picture of sexuality, and it didn't quite make sense. And so we want to talk about sexuality because of just lingering on the default. We want to understand what is the true purpose of sexuality, okay? And how does that fit into my life, okay? And how is that going to look like? What is my vision for having sexuality in my life, in my relationship with my spouse? Okay, one approach is to just not think about sexuality at all, right? And so probably it'll just appear in the form of whatever urges or stimulation you experience in your life on an individual level, perhaps with the people you talk to at the moment. Maybe you're not talking to anyone about sexuality. Maybe you're lucky and you have a relationship with your parents and you can talk a lot with them about sexuality, right? So that's one approach, just kind of not doing anything about it, not talking, not thinking about it, and just going blindly into a relationship and then having to figure it out then and there what's going on. The approach that we're offering is to already start thinking about it a little bit, right? We're not going to go into, graphic details or whatever, but about the vision for it, a direction for it, a compass that you can use. And so that has the potential of setting you up for something, for a relationship that's potentially one of the greatest relationships in your life, right? Your conjugal relationship with your future spouse. So sexuality exists for intimacy's sake, not just for my personal pleasure's sake, right? How does that embody closeness in a relationship? That's what intimacy means. Having a sense of closeness that we could share anything with that person, right? We could be totally free ourselves, and getting to know ourselves through our partner. And horizontally, so much growth happens because of that, because our partner will be a mirror for us to understand ourselves much more deeply. And fulfilling God's dream and desire, which is love, experiencing love and experiencing joy, and sharing that with the wider community, with people we love, And so through that relationship of husband and wife and creating a family, we can fulfill God's dream for that and experience joy and love ourselves as well. We can join in that and share it. So all of this is really, the purpose, the objectives that we have in CORE. And here are just some tips of how you can make the best use of this program, but really any program or any activity that you do in life. And that is, engaging and using your emotion, intellect, and will. 3 different approaches, and you might have one that's your favorite. Perhaps you're someone who's really intellectual and you like to conceptualize things and contemplate. Or maybe you're somebody who's really in tune with your emotions and it needs to stimulate you emotionally for something to be a good experience. Or perhaps you're just somebody who's like, I need to get things done, right? And will. And so with each of these approaches, there's merit and value to. And perhaps if you're, strongly leaning towards one of them, you want to consider how these others might play a role in your experience. So emotion, what we're offering is that you really focus on give and receive in your groups, for example. Okay, in your groups, you'll have discussions, you'll have the opportunity to share about how you're doing, how you're progressing in your goals, what you're understanding and taking away from the program, and practicing the 5 hidden virtues in the program, but also outside, in your family, your relationships, your day-to-day life. It's intellect will be the content. There'll be weekly readings, weekly videos with weekly topics. And so that you can see that as receiving God's words, receiving inspiration, and then, transforming that into your wisdom, taking away from it what's most important for you. And then will. Will is action, right? How to pursue your North Star goal. If you have a clear vision, create action steps. How can you actually be that kind of person? So these 3 steps. Increase your commitment. This is a free program. Okay, it might not have been a big deal for you to sign up, but if you want to get the most of this program, then try not to think about what's the minimum that I can do in this program, but what's the maximum, right? How can I really increase my commitment, be committed to these 8 weeks? It's not a lot, 2 months, 8 weeks, and make the most of this time in this program. Create a goal for yourself, okay, that's meaningful. It doesn't have to be world changing, but have a goal for these 2 months so that after these 2 months, after this program, who do you want to be? What would you like to have changed in your life by that time? Well, what is something that you would just like to move towards? Okay, there's not going to be any test or check if you've reached it and we're going to give you a grade, but this is for you, right? So that your efforts in this program can be directed towards that kind of goal, a North Star goal. And do the work, okay? The work that's part of the program, but also do some extra work, okay? It might get consistent, might feel consistent, weekly group calls, right? Readings, but consistency is what really yields great results and not only one-time big efforts. Participate actively in the group calls, in the activities, and as a challenge, read one chapter of the Core of the Universe program. Sorry, not program, book every day. If you read one chapter every day, you will soon be done with the whole book. Okay. And so this is our North Star goal for you, for all participants. Get clear on what the ideal individual is and how to become that through developing the 5 high noon virtues in your life, in our lives, in my life.
Okay, fantastic. So that is the orientation, I believe, from Andy finished. There we go. Okay. So that was an edited version because I actually will continue sharing a bit more detail on the practical things that we have updated for this cycle. But before I do that, I want to remind you that we will have a Q&A section after this. So if you want to write any questions in the chat regarding the program or anything that you're not so clear on yet regarding this program, I can answer it after the segment. So yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. But for now, I'm just going to go a little bit into some of the more practical things that we will need to know for the upcoming weeks. So the first thing I can say is if you are a returning participant from last cycle, you will remember that the content in this program is divided between the Hunduke, the readings that we have during the group call, and the videos that we watch afterwards. And then we send a reflection usually. And in order to graduate the program, you would have had to have joined your group call at least 5 times out of 8 and complete the online video course. It's going to be very similar, but we're going to change one thing actually this cycle. This cycle, we're not going to measure your video course progress. The videos will be purely optional for this cycle. So the main thing for you to focus on is to attend your group calls. Try to be there every week, at least 5 times out of 8. 8 out of 8 would be the best. And if you can't make it for whatever reason, you're busy or you have something come up, please let your group facilitator know about it, and then they can tick you off as okay, you couldn't come for whatever reason. But yeah, communication is really key for this program. So really try to go the high route to success and be as communicative and as switched on as possible throughout the program, and really don't shy away from taking responsibility. Like Andy said, if you also want to purchase the Core of the Universe book, which is the content that this whole program is based upon, you can purchase it on Amazon. I can send the link into the WhatsApp chat after this meeting, and yeah, you can purchase the book on Amazon. I really recommend you read the book. It's really, really good. Yeah, but as I said before, so the videos will no longer be a mandatory watch, though there's some great content in there with material that's not just from the content in the book, but also more practical advice on how we can prepare ourselves for the matching and blessing, whether it's a behavioral habit that we can build or other good qualities that we can work on now. So I will be sending those videos in the WhatsApp chat every week, so you can go ahead and check those out as homework if you like. And then also you have your groups, you have your group chats on WhatsApp where you can discuss the video content together. You should have already been contacted by your group facilitator, who has most likely already put you into a WhatsApp chat or is working on getting you into a WhatsApp chat. And yeah, you will start your group calls this week. And yeah, that's going to be the main content for this program. And another really cool component is we will have discussion chats as well, which nobody's in that chat yet, so don't worry. I will add you all to that chat. Well, no, I'll send you the link to that chat during this webinar so that you can join. Basically, there'll be 2 chats. One is for the majority of participants, and every Monday, Maya or myself will send a question in there that we can all discuss together and socialize. Think of it as like the dinner table at a workshop where people get to socialize and ask more questions and chat together after a long lecture, right? So we'll have that really fun group chat with plenty of fun discussions taking place there. But this time we're introducing a new group chat for all of the participants who are in a matching process right now, who have kind of taken that extra step on their journey and are already in a process. We will have a separate group chat just for you with more specific questions related to where you are at on your journey in the blessing. Also, there's a few staff here, a few facilitators who they themselves are blessed, like our dear founder, Uncle Dave. You've been blessed for a good many years, so I think for you, this group chat with the matched individuals would be far more engaging and yeah, you'll enjoy that one more. Yeah, that's the two main changes from last cycle. And for all the new participants, we actually have a lot of new participants who have joined for the very first time this cycle. I'm so happy that you're here, so excited to see you. I'm very much looking forward to getting to know, especially my brothers who are in my group, more throughout these next few weeks. Yeah, so that's the main things I wanted to share with you. And oh yeah, one other thing is there will be two mid webinars throughout the cycle. So this is the first one, orientation. There'll be one at the very end as well for us to close the program. We'll have two more, and we'll let you know when they will take place as soon as possible. They usually happen in the third and fourth week or on a Friday evening is usually when we have them. So once they are confirmed, we'll send that in the group chat and add you to the calendar invite so you can all schedule that for when it happens. And yeah, they're going to be fun. They're going to be some really cool activities and extra content for you to listen to as well. So does anybody have any questions at the moment? There's nothing in the chat, but if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, I can answer it. Or hopefully we've explained everything clearly and there's no confusion. I'm not seeing any questions. Okay, I think we've done our job well then. Everyone's clear. This is good. This is good. Okay, in that case, we actually have one more video that we're going to show you. So as Andy alluded to in his orientation, we will all be creating North Star goals as participants. So a North Star goal is something for you to really focus on during these 2 months and should be something which you can really work towards during the time in the program. So try to set a goal which is far more concrete and measurable. Anyway, I'll let Andrew Love do the explaining because we do have a video from him. So yeah, I'll give it to virtual Andrew to share with us about North Star goals.
Welcome back, everybody. Nice to see you. Today we're going to be talking about something I'm very passionate about, which is the North Star goal. Now, in life, in the past, they didn't have phones, they didn't have GPS, they didn't have, I don't know, modern tech to help them get through this world. I personally can't get anywhere without my GPS. I don't even remember names of streets at this point. I just follow what my phone tells me. I'm useless in terms of understanding the stars, right? But a long time ago, that's the only way that they knew how to get anywhere is by referencing the stars. It would tell them which way's north, which way's south, which way's east and west, especially at sea. When you can't look at buildings or anything like that, all you have are the stars, right? The North Star goal concept is the similar type of orientation for you and for your sexual integrity. Now, we developed this concept years ago as a way to channel and funnel people's energy towards a clear intention, right? When you live with intentionality, it means that you know how your actions are going to impact your life, the life that you want. Most people live without intentionality. They eat whatever they want to eat. They sleep whenever they go to sleep. They don't think about these things. But a North Star goal is something that is like a compass, and you can measure your actions based on your North Star goal. Should I eat this? Well, it depends. What are my goals, my health goals? Should I watch this? Well, it depends. What kind of time do I want to spend on my phone, and what do I want to watch based on the feelings that I want? Because I know that when I watch certain things, I feel bad. Like porn makes me feel tired, useless, angry, frustrated, powerless. Probably shouldn't watch it because I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel, hence the North Star goal. So it is like a compass for your life that orients you based on all the many micro decisions you make in life, but it's taking you all in one direction towards a life that you can be proud of. High Noon prides itself as being an organization that helps people to create lives that they don't want to escape from anymore. That's why people get addictions, especially to their phones and to the internet, is because they just don't know what to do with these feelings inside. But what if your North Star goal was to become somebody who can deal with life, who enjoys life, and who can get through any difficulty because you're a resilient person? Well, that means that you start focusing and optimizing your life for resiliency. That means that when challenges come, you face them, you talk about them, you deal with them in a brotherhood or a sisterhood, you pray about them, you think about them, and then you overcome them. It's such a powerful way of living. So just to introduce you to this concept, we typically ask that people come up with North Star goals in like 3-month windows because we focus on quarters. It's like a season. It's like a very natural order of things is a season. So if you could think of the next 3 months, what would you like to, what kind of person do you want to be? Like what kind of life do you want? And if you start to orient yourself towards living that life, it means choosing decisions that help you to experience that. So I know it sounds really big, but if you can think about, I want to be a reliable person. I want to be an honest person. And here's the last thing that I'm going to say, is one of the best ways to create a North Star goal with us is to focus on one of the 5 virtues: honesty, accountability, grace, integrity, and courage. Which ones are you lacking and which ones do you want more of in your life? And start doubling down on becoming more of that. So if it's honesty, then prioritize honesty for the next 3 months and watch what happens. If it's grace, because you're really resentful or you're withholding your true self from other people, then focus on giving yourself, receiving grace and giving other people's grace and receiving God's grace, and like just steep yourself in grace for 3 months and see what happens. It's a game changer. And the very, very last thing, I know I said it was the last thing, is it helps you to focus on where you want to go. Even the strongest warriors, if they just stand in the middle of a battlefield and fight a whole legion of people, eventually they're going to get tired and get defeated. You need momentum. You need somewhere to go. And a North Star goal allows you not to just focus on the problems and fighting the problems, but it gives you, I want to go somewhere. I don't want to just sit and watch my phone. What do I want to do? Oh yeah, I want to be productive. Boom, it gives you something to do. So I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I'm clearly passionate about it. It changed my life and hundreds of people's lives around this world when they start funneling energy from focusing on their problems and wasting it doing nothing, and start plugging into building your future with intentionality through the North Star goal. You got this. So for today's lesson, just focus on considering which of the 5 virtues you'd like to double down on and invest in and become more of. Strengthen that muscle. Good luck.